Hi everyone and welcome to Left on Red. My name is Red and this is r/Entitledparents, a place with stories about parents who think that just because they have kids, they are entitled to everything. Our first story today is by Fate Killer 28. I don't care if you destroyed them. Let my baby play with your cards. Hey y'all! I recently ran into an entitled mother in the wild, which isn't my first time because I work in the restaurant business. But this one stands out and feels worthy enough to post. So, I play a semi-popular game called Yu-Gi-Oh! It's mostly a fun pastime that me and a few friends play. But I will cherish my cards. And one deck, Vampires, is very sentimental to me because it was a gift from my fiancé when we first started dating. Well, with this lockdown, I have not been able to play with my friends, but in hope of getting some fresh air, me and my half-brother decided to duel outside our apartments. I was using two decks, one being Vampire and the other was just a very pricey one, Dragons. But asked nicely, and sure, I would let someone who was being gentle look and play with them. This will be important later. While dueling, a little brat, entitled Brat, who was playing with his mother, entitled Mother, a bit away, came over. My brother noticed and pulled my attention to it. Entitled Brat was grabbing the card box with my vampires in it. I quickly dropped my hand and took the box gently away from this brat. He looked 9 or 10, so he should have known not to do that. But I did not want to judge a book by its cover. Instead of yelling at him, I calmly told him not to grab other people's stuff. Entitled Brat pouts and then runs off to Entitled Mother. I was stupidly thinking that was that and started cleaning up my cards from where I dropped them. That's when I heard her clear her throat to get my attention. This is how the conversation goes. Me, looking back at her, yes ma'am? Entitled Mother, trying to kill me with her glares.
What makes you think that you have the right to tell my kid what to do?
Me, confused for a second, then it clicked. Oh, sorry ma'am, I meant no disrespect to either of you. He just grabbed my box without asking and Entitled Brat cuts me off.
Mommy, I want to play like them.
Entitled Mother, I know baby, turns back to me.
Let my baby play with you. For how rude you're being. I expect you to give him the cards.
My brother, who unlike me, doesn't have social anxiety, interjects. Whoa there, she has been nothing but respectful, so back off. Entitled Mother, death glares at him.
She hurt my baby's feelings. That's not respectful.
Brother, teach your kid not to be a thief then. Entitled Mother starts cussing and yelling at my brother out for calling her baby a thief. Me, freaking out at the yelling. If he wants to play, he can. He can use this deck, but I'm not letting him take them home.
I want that one,
as he points to my box. Sorry, but no, that deck is personal. How about this deck? Look, it has dragons. Entitled Mother,
it's a damn card game. Let him play with them.
Look, that deck is personal and I don't... Entitled Mother cuts me off again.
I don't care. Give it to him.
Brother, yell at my baby sister again and you will regret it. I'm about to have a panic attack at this point, and I'm feeling trapped and don't notice Entitled Brat picking up one of my dragon cards. Not till I hear a loud rip noise. My head shot to the kid ripping up one of my dragons. My anxiety was rapidly replaced with anger. What the heck are you doing? I yanked all my cards from his hand angrily. Now you definitely can't play if you destroy them. Entitled mother.
Don't you dare yell at him.
Me. He destroyed my cards. I will yell at him and you. This card costs roughly $20 on Amazon. He can't touch my cards if he destroys them. Entitled mother.
I don't care if he destroys them. Let my baby play with your cards.
At this point, she goes to grab my box. My brother was faster and got to them first, starting a yelling match again. Me, now crying from everything, try to bend over to put the dragons in their box when entitled brat kicks my butt, causing me to faceplant, breaking my glasses. Brother pushes entitled brat away from me, causing the scream fest to boil over, and entitled mother slapping my brother hard enough for her nails to leave scratch marks. Turns out one of the neighbors called the cops on us for yelling and fighting. With me sobbing, my destroyed card and glasses, the neighbor who called, and my brother's face scratches, it was clear that entitled mother was at fault here. She was screeching like a madwoman the whole time till the cop pointed out that I can charge for destruction of property and assault. I, not wanting the drama of it, said, "All I want is to go home." Entitled mother, either relieved or perhaps it finally clicked how much trouble she could be in, handed me something which turned out to be $5 and tried to rush off as the cop finished his report. That's when my brother said he wants to press charges for assault. After a long back and forth, entitled mother was arrested. I will update if anything comes from it. But I'm just glad nothing happened to my vampires. And for the card that the entitled brat ripped, some tape fixed it till I can afford a new card. Also for the glasses, I have a backup pair. Thanks for reading. Too long, didn't read. Entitled brat ripped off my Yu-Gi-Oh card and entitled mother said I shouldn't care and slapped my brother, getting her arrested for assault. I don't understand why entitled parents have such a hard time grasping that if something is not your property, you or your kid do not get to touch it. You do not get to have a say in who gets to play with it, who gets to do what with it. Hey y'all, this is Editing Red jumping in really quick to say sorry about the red background on the post. The post got deleted from Reddit before I could grab the screenshots, so I had to grab these from Removed It, which is why it looks so different. Sorry about that. Our next story is by Faco5045. You disowned me, so that's no reason for keeping us out of your wedding. So, not my story, but my best friend, I will call JJ, and happened about 2 years ago. I have his permission to post it. JJ came out to his family when he was 27 years old. Aside from them, everyone else in his life knew he was gay. And there was a good reason for it. As he expected, his parents reacted horribly to the news and basically disowned him at the moment. They later told both extended families and his uncles and grandparents cut him off too. His maternal grandmother went as far as to try to take him out of his dead maternal grandfather's will. She failed due to the will's conditions. No one could modify it, not even the main representative, aka grandma. And homosexuality was not listed in the conditions that could make the inheritance void. Or grandpa didn't expect it to happen, or he just did not care. Take your guess. JJ was legally the partial owner of some properties and also got a substantial amount of money, which got even bigger when he reclaimed in cash his corresponding share of the houses, which forced his family to buy them from him. The other option was losing the properties in a public sale, as stated by our country's laws. JJ didn't need the money actually. By this point, he was moderately successful professional and lived in his own apartment. But it severed any legal binding he had with his family that could become a problem in the future. He still kept good relationships with his sister and most of his cousins, and even if they invited him to family gatherings, he always declined. Fast forward 3 years and JJ is getting married to his longtime boyfriend Sky, whose family was the polar opposite of JJ's. When they found out, they made royal wedding-style plans for the guy's ceremony. They were, are very wealthy, and JJ contributed to the whole extravaganza with a portion of his inheritance. He invited as his guests his friends, including yours truly as his best man, some co-workers, his sister, and the cousins he still spoke to. Don't get me wrong, it was a lot of people. The wedding was amazing, done in an underground. Literally speaking, it was a freaking cave. Venue. His sister took him to the altar. There was an orchestra playing, etc. Fairy tale style. And the after party, I can't remember half of it because I was so drunk. But it was from another world. They said go big or go home, and they really went big. But enough of the context. You came here for the juicy part. JJ told the good cousins not to tell anything to his parents or other family members about the wedding because he didn't want trouble. But obviously, the next day, their social media accounts were full of pictures and word spread out like fire. At first, it was small things. He started receiving calls of some aunts about why they weren't invited. The bad cousins complained via Facebook and other nuisances. He just ignored them and blocked numbers and accounts. He did not want or need to give explanations when they had all made clear their position years prior. But one day, hell came directly to the door. His parents, P and M, his maternal grandma, MG, and his paternal grandparents, PGS. All of the heads of the family came to visit. How they found out where he lived is still a mystery to him. Sky was working and JJ was alone in the house, so there was no one to help him against the Crook Squad. His name, not mine. I can't actually transcript because he didn't use exact words when he told me this, but it seems at first they tried to be gentle, asking how he could leave them out of such an important event that directly affected the family. Really? His mom even used the
"You took away my chance to see my only male son's marriage"
argument. He pointed out that they were the ones that expelled him from the family and that they hated everything gay. Half of that wedding was LGBT crowd, if you are wondering. They classified his exile as a misunderstanding. The bickering between the six continued for a long time until he got tired and asked what they wanted, as he could not redo the wedding. Maternal grandma spilled the beans.
"Ungrateful brat! At least compensate us for not inviting us to a wedding we paid for."
That was the problem. Maternal grandma and his parents were mad that he used the family money on the ceremony, and they wanted it back. They had brought the paternal grandparents with them as an additional emotional leverage. As I told you earlier, JJ had made sure that money had no legal bindings to his family anymore. But for some reason, they still believed it was theirs to a point and were mad he had spent it. He confronted them and they threw away their facade. What came next was a serious fight in which both JJ and his father ended up hitting each other until the neighbors called the police. Charges were pressed on both sides, but in the end, the case was declared a tie. Don't ask me how that was possible because I don't know. And JJ was not forced to pay 1 cent. He was also able to ask for restraining orders against all of them. Till this day, JJ is still shaken about the event. He had prepared himself for years knowing that his family would hate him because of his sexuality, but he still retained some hope that far in the future they would mend things up. He lost that hope after they tried to emotionally scam him. Thanks for reading. Too long, didn't read. My friend's family cut him off their lives and were mad he had used a share of his inheritance in his wedding without inviting them to it. They wanted him to give the money back, and his dad punched him after he refused. Down in the comments, Sorta Silly wrote something which echoed my own sentiments, and they said, I will never be able to understand how you can throw your own child out of your life solely based on who they love. It's so far from what I consider love. Isn't that supposed to be unconditional for your kids? Nothing in this world would make me turn my back on my kids. It's their life. If they are happy, I'm happy. And I agree. Our next story is by BodyBoy69. Entitled kid gets bitten by a gerbil and tells entitled mother, who then wants to kill it. Backstory. I have a white Mongolian gerbil. His name is Hammy. Don't judge me. I was 12 and my 8-year-old sister named him. Unlike hamsters, gerbils have long tails that make it look like a rat. Here's a picture for context. It was my birthday. This was years before Corona, and we were having a party. The gerbil was in my room in his cage, so kids didn't touch him because he will bite strangers. I was sitting on my bed making sure kids didn't stick fingers through the bars. It was all good until Entitled Kid arrived. Entitled Kid was around 7. He had arrived late, so the food was cold, but my dad warmed it up and they ate. But, you see, this kid had a reputation of being annoying and cruel. He had a dwarf hamster, and they're really small. But this kid did cruel things to it. He threw it around, he would feed it pizza, chips, and one time showered him in soda. He, on occasion, also would squeeze him until his eyes sort of hanged out. Hanged out? That does not sound right, but I'll keep going. So it's understandable why I wouldn't want him handling mine. He finished eating and started playing Roblox on Entitled Mother's phone. He went around to all the kids showing how much stuff he had bought with the Roblox Entitled Mother bought him. He then came to my room and saw my gerbil.
You have a hamster? Can I hold him?
No, he doesn't like being touched or held by strangers. Also knew his reputation with hamsters.
So, I have one, so I'm allowed to.
I said no. It makes him scared and he starts biting. Entitled Kid then decided I was wrong and he opened his cage and tried to grab him, but he was bit. Keep in mind, he doesn't bite hard, but it's enough to make you fling out your hand. But Entitled Kid, being a little kid, it felt like a gunshot. He ran away and I thought he was gone for good. But no. Entitled Mother walking into my room. Ew, a rat? It's not a rat actually. It's a gerbil.
Yes, Mommy, it is a rat and it bit me.
Sniffled from crying. Give it to me. He bit my angel and now he's crying. I told him he's gonna bite him and he ignored me and tried to grab him.
He's lying, Mommy. He said I could grab him and the rat bit me.
I told you, you didn't listen. It's your fault and for the last time, it's not a rat. To this, the Entitled Mother says, You lie, that's a rat and my angel would never lie. Entitled Kid starts sobbing, saying he lost his finger when there's not even a bite mark. Entitled Mother, Give it to me right now or I will tell your parents that you attacked Entitled Kid. Me, I'm not going to give him to you. Everyone knows Entitled Kid abuses his hamster. Entitled Kid,
Now I play with him. He even laughs.
Those were his squeaks of pain. Entitled Mother then does exactly what Entitled Kid did and gets bit but harder because she pulled him by the tail. But since she's a full-grown woman with the blubber of a whale to protect her, she didn't feel it. Me, what the heck? Put down my pet. Entitled Mother, No,
He's gonna be thrown outside and killed by my angel for biting him.
Then Mom came into my room because of the yelling. What's happening here? My mother asks. Entitled Mother.
Your kid brought a rat inside and he bit my child and he has rabies now.
Mother. Put him down and get the heck out of my house. Entitled Mother.
What? I didn't do anything wrong.
Me. You threatened to kill my gerbil. By now, he had gotten free and was back in the cage, hiding under his toys. Poor thing. They left in a hurry, but not before saying she's calling animal control, who showed up 10 minutes later. The part that amazes me the most is she came back and entitled kid yelled,
I want my goodie bag and cupcake
at the top of his lungs. They are entitled, all right. Down in the comments, I Love Potatoes 420 asked what I was also thinking. What did animal control do? To which OP replies, we explained what happened and they just left because Entitled Mother had said we had a rat infestation. And that was r/Entitledparents. My name is Red and this is Left on Red. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And please press the bell notification so that you get notified every time I post new Reddit content. Bye!